back to the Destination Saratoga All Access podcast, where we explore the best of what Saratoga County has to offer, from iconic attractions to hidden gems and the people shaping our vibrant community. Today, we're diving into the world of local retail with a very special guest, Maddy Zanetti, co-owner of Impressions of Saratoga and the Dark Horse Mercantile. If you've ever wandered down Broadway, chances are you've stepped into one of her shops filled with Saratoga-inspired gifts and locally made products. Maddie has been a driving force behind these beloved businesses, bringing creativity, community spirit, and a deep love for Saratoga to everything she does. We'll chat about how she got started at Impressions, what her stores mean to the community, her passion for supporting local artisans, and of course, the story behind her famous mini horse upset. Plus, we'll get a behind-the-scenes look at how she balances business, family, and her involvement in local organizations. So whether you're a longtime Saratoga local or just discovering the magic of this amazing city, you won't want to miss this conversation. But before we get into the interview, here's the latest news and events with MacKenzie and Jesse. So it's the latest news and events with MacKenzie and Jesse.
Yay.
What's up?
Nothing much.
You're so Riz.
Yeah. That's not what it means.
Yeah, you've got Riz.
Okay.
Sus. Just so sus. All right. This is me trying to be Gen Z, and I'm totes an old millennial. Let's talk news and events.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl just happened. Mm-hmm. I should say the Taylor Swift Bowl, because that's what I was there for. He didn't propose.
Well, because he was sad. They lost pretty badly. I loved the meme of her like standing on the railing, and people were like, she looks like Sharpay from High School Musical, where she starts the "This is not what I want."
Didn't see High School Musical.
Wait, what?
Sounds so sus.
Yeah, very.
I'm pulling out all the abbreviations today because apparently you Gen Zers have to abbreviate everything.
I feel like that didn't start with us. I felt like that started with your generation with like gotta go, GT, like TTYL.
GTG?
Texting.
Oh, texting, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else happened at the Super Bowl? Oh, the Eagles fans were booing Taylor Swift. That made me sad.
Yes. And then the Eagles won, which is...
The Eagles won.
Yes. Just for like a change of pace. The halftime show. Amazing.
That was pretty good. I honestly didn't know a single song, but his flare jeans were on point.
Yes, they were beautiful.
Everything's about the flare jeans right now.
But yeah, the Super Bowl halftime show was like insane.
Did you see Serena Williams?
Yes.
Shaking her booty?
Go.
I called that out, but
She's
nobody...
doing the crib walk. That's what that dance is called.
Crip.
Yeah.
Crip walk. Walk. What else just happened? Oh, March Madness is coming up.
March Madness, yes.
Some b-ball.
Very exciting. I love March Madness.
I asked my husband to send me some teams that are supposed to be good. So Duke, Auburn, Alabama. It's exciting.
Yeah. I always root for Duke usually.
I like Duke.
Yeah. But I just like the atmosphere around it.
Yeah.
And last year, I was very new. I was brand new to the office, January 2024, and I made everyone fill out a bracket for March Madness, and I won.
It was rigged. So I'm looking forward to doing the brackets again this year. Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
I don't really put a whole lot of thought into it in terms of like the research behind the teams, but I like filling out the bracket.
It's always nice to also just like, obviously I don't watch basketball year round either, but it's nice to get into it, and like regardless of how you filled it out, watching a game you're like, oh, like I'm rooting for this team because I happen to choose them, you know, and it just gets people involved and it's fun.
Totally. Little fun competition. I am a little sad though that we don't have like a Caitlin Clark this year.
I know.
She did huge things for women and female athletes. And as a female athlete, you too, it's so nice to see that women's sports were so heavily watched last year. I think she broke all of these records. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that it happened in our generation.
Yeah. And she's doing great things for the WNBA too.
Yeah.
Now that she's in it.
They had a great Super Bowl ad, right? Wasn't she in it? It was a bunch of female athletes. They all looked beautiful, and they were promoting winning.
Basically.
Winning.
Yeah. Like Jordan Chili's and Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yeah, and female in sports. Dove had a nice ad too about women. I can't remember the statistic, but it was like 48% of girls drop out of sports in middle school or something because of body image. I was like, that wasn't even a thought for me when I played sports in high school, and it's just such a shame that females aren't picked up more. So I'm really happy that Dove did that commercial. That was great.
Yeah, it was sweet. Do you like, you must know, Ilona Maher Yeah, that's how you say it. Elena Mar.
No.
She's so cool. She's a rugby player, and she like she has an athletic body, which like a lot of people do, a lot of women do. And she was very positive just about having like broad shoulders and having an athletic body. And then she made it to the Olympics and like gained a lot of popularity then with her TikTok videos. She's so funny. She's just like so positive and such a great role model for these young girls. Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to have to find her and follow her. So, Chowderfest, just a quick recap. We had such a great day. 89 participants, 13 first-time participants, over 100,000 bowls of chowder served, and according to the police, we had about 40,000 people again this year. So I would say that was a success.
Yes, very much so. I was out in the streets for a little bit of time, getting some interviews. Thank you to everyone who talked with us. Everyone, just such positive vibes. Everyone was having a good time.
Yeah.
Families, age ranges from different demographics. Everyone was just like, love it here. Love the crowd, love the people. Love it all.
So you interviewed some people. Where were they from? I'm curious to know where people are coming to come to Saratoga for Chowderfest.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of locals, of course, and then there was this whole group from Buffalo that actually ran into people they work with, like on accident.
Oh, how crazy.
Yeah, it was so cute. And then there was this man from England who is from here but lives in London now, came back for Chowderfest specifically.
Wow. That's a cool one.
Yeah. They had like a whole group, and some other people in that group are from Florida. Others were local to Saratoga. Many first-timers that I interviewed, I feel like within every group is a first-timer going with people who have gone for years and recruiting another person to come.
I love that.
So, yeah. But then obviously we got Boston Spa, South Glens Falls, Clifton Park, a bunch of people like that. And it's just wonderful to see and to hear that everyone enjoys it so much.
I love it. When we were at the visitor center, there was a couple who was visiting from Philadelphia, and they said they happened to stumble upon Chowderfest in one of their trips to upstate New York, and now they come every year. And they brought another couple from Philadelphia. So that was so cool. And the Eagles won, so they must have had a great weekend.
Yeah. Oh my God. Broad Street, like crazy after the game. I saw all those videos.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So fun. And Mostly Modern, they were playing at the the visitor center, and they did such a good job. They're Fab Five. They do mostly violins, and then they had one drummer. What else did they have? It was like three.
Sure. They probably had a viola in there, but that's also a string instrument.
Well, there was four strings and one percussion, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah,
they played everything from Lady Gaga to Baby Shark to classical. I really enjoyed it.
I love it. It makes me think of, if you've watched Bridgerton, they have like all of the classic hits, or like the pop hits in
the classical
orchestral.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're going to have a summer series here. So make sure you visit discoversaratoga.org so you can find their schedule. They play at Skidmore College every year. Speaking of events, I just want to run down a couple of events coming up soon in Saratoga. So the Saratoga Home and Lifestyle Show is taking place on Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd here at the Saratoga Springs City Center. Admission is free for all ages. This event, put on by the Rotary Club of Saratoga Springs, benefits community nonprofit organizations, youth scholarships, and international humanitarian aid projects. So it definitely is a community event. We encourage you to come and check it out. Like I said, admission is free, and it's right here at the Saratoga Springs City Center.
We also have Homemade Theater's production of Hamlet debuting on February 28th. You can also watch it on March 1st, March 2nd, March 7th, 8th, and 9th. So get your tickets. Homemade Theater does a wonderful production throughout the year. They're a local theater, and it's just lovely to see local actors.
I mentioned on the last episode, but just a reminder, because this event will take place tomorrow, Make Jazz Trill Again with Melanie Charles is taking place at the Arthur Zankel Music Center March 1st. So Melanie Charles came to Saratoga last year and did a lot of different events in town, working with college students, high school students on music, and they did a big jam session at Frederick Allen Lodge, which was so cool. So this event, I believe, is a culmination of all of her experiences in Saratoga at Arthur Zankel. Hopefully, not sure yet, afterwards she'll go back to the lodge and do a jam session, but we will see. So if you're around tomorrow, March 1st, make sure you check it out.
Yeah, so cool. And then we also have the Adirondack Sports Summer Expo at the City Center, March 22nd. That is just for anyone interested in any kind of outdoor sports or just sports in general. They have, I remember one year they had like a pool in the middle of the city center to show off kayaking, hiking, biking, swimming, just all of the good stuff there. And it's a whole big event.
Super fun.
Yeah.
And then St. Patrick's Day. So
Yeah.
we're coming up into the luckiest month of the year. And Saratoga is a great time on St. Patrick's Day.
really
We
is.
have Parting Glass. We have Harvey's.
Yeah.
Clancy's Tavern's always a fun one. There's so many places to go. Great live music, Irish food, lots of festivities. But festivities will take place all weekends long, I think wrapping up on Monday, which is actually St. Patrick's Day. So check it out. Do we have a blog on this?
We will. And I'll be doing some posts. Maybe I'll do a little roundup video. Last year I did one. So this year I'll probably do something even bigger and better.
Yes. So visit discoversaratoga.org for all of the events taking place in March this year.
And discover Saratoga NY on all socials.
Yes. So we talked about flare jeans, and today's guest is Maddy Zanetti from Impressions. And they have a lot of great stuff there retail-wise. If you are visiting or you're local, I'm sure you can find something there Saratoga relevant. And it's not like tacky things. When
No,
you
it's
think
nice.
of going to a store and a destination to get some sort of branded tchotchke, it's not like that. It's very nice stuff. And a lot of it I use to decorate my house. So there's all sorts of stuff, fun stuff there. And then Dark Horse Mercantile is like a step up. It's more of a boutique. They have equestrian clothing, decor stuff, and it's so awesome. And she talks a lot about the story of Upset. And so you definitely want to stay tuned to catch this interview.
Impressions has such good stuff. I remember getting my niece, I think the year that she was born, a Saratoga sweater, and it's just really cute and classic, and it's like one of my favorite things.
I love
I've
that.
gotten her. Yeah,
I love that. People here are so proud to wear Saratoga apparel and have Saratoga items, and I think that's part of what makes us unique. You don't just see tourists come in and buy Saratoga Springs t-shirts.
we wear it all the time.
Yeah.
They have great like shot glasses, mugs, stickers, lanyards, like all that good stuff there too.
Yeah. When we put together our welcome bags for media writers, we're always throwing stuff in there, whether it's a magnet or a Saratoga water bottle or a bag of chips. It's all Saratoga themed, but it's cool stuff. I never want to send someone home with something I wouldn't want or I wouldn't use because that's just tacky.
Yeah, we're not tacky.
No. Well, thanks.
Thanks.
It's been fun.
TTYL.
Now to the interview. Welcome back to Destination Saratoga All Access Podcast. I'm your host, MacKenzie Zarzicki, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Maddy Zanetti from Impressions of Saratoga. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk with you. So I have to ask, because you're a Maddie, is it Madison, Madeline?
It is Madison, but I've never gone by Madison other than my grandfather. He calls me Madison. Everyone else calls me Maddie.
So I asked because I have a Madeline, and we try to call her Maddie, but she's like adamant, I am Madeline. So I was talking to her last night. I'm like, I'm interviewing a Maddie tomorrow. And I was like, if we were to call you Maddie, would it be an I-E or a Y? But that conversation was a little too advanced for a 4-year-old.
Yep.
But it's funny because it's a beautiful name. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So you are a co-owner of Impressions in the Dark Horse Mercantile here in Saratoga. When did you first start working at Impressions? And can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah. So I had shopped at Impressions of Saratoga since I was a kid. I went there to buy the Breyer horses and glass dogs. I was a big collector of Breyer horses because I couldn't have a real horse. And I always had planned on doing something with horses and dogs my whole life. So I went into Impressions one day when I was old enough to work. I was 14. I went in, and Sarah, who was the manager at the time, she was like, "You should work here." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went up. At that time, we had an office upstairs. I went up to the office to talk to Mare, who is the founder, Marianne Barker. Her and her husband started the business. I went up to talk to her about it, and she was like, "Yeah, I think we're pretty set with the schedule, but why don't you come in tomorrow and we'll see how you do." And I've been there since, full-time in the summers and then part-time during school. And then once I got out of school, I was there full-time. I knew I was going to have a business of some kind, whether I was going to buy a business that was downtown or open my own. Mare was planning on someday selling the business, so it worked out perfectly that I partnered with her and her husband. Then I bought Dave out, and then I'll eventually buy her out. So I've been there, I think it's 22 or 23 years now.
Good for you. And you're so young. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
Lady power. Love that. So we've talked a little bit about your history. So Impressions has been a staple in the Saratoga community since 1978. In what ways do you think your store has shaped the local community over the years?
Yeah, so they started in Cobblestone in 1978 and then moved to Saratoga. If there's any sort of event happening, we're an early adopter of that event. We'll join in. Even if it doesn't relate to us, we'll do something that gets us to participate and allows us to promote the event. And I think that that's helped our business, but also helped the community because we're very visible and vocal. And we have been there when Saratoga wasn't a year-round destination. And every year we see that. It gets busier and busier year-round. And I think that having a store that's open year-round, that is open 7 days a week, that has very consistent staffing too.
Yes.
People like to come back and see the same people and share the stories. And we have that connection with both locals and people who might only come once a year or a few times a year. So we have those special connections.
I love that. Yeah, your store is definitely so nice to go into. Everyone is so friendly when they greet you. It feels like a big family there.
Oh, thank you. That's what we strive for. And we are very lucky that we've always been able to find people that want to be there and enjoy working together. And we do have a lot of fun with it. We see each other more than we see our families sometimes. So you want to enjoy the people that you're around every day.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So what gave you guys the idea to open the Dark Horse Mercantile, and how does it fit alongside Impressions?
So we had started the Dark Horse brand. First, we tried it out in the early 2000s, and that was Dave's idea to do something kind of like when you think of a crawfish or you think of a lobster. You're like, oh, lobster, Maine. You think of that and it's Saratoga horse. But we wanted to be something that was a little bit more generic than, oh, it's a brown racehorse that everyone expects, but something unique. So Dave drew up the original Dark Horse, which was the black horse with the white spots, and he's just a horse of a different color, very unique. And we tried that a few years, and it didn't have a lot of story behind it, so it wasn't really clicking. And then I was like, we could make this work if we put some history with it and do some more research. So we found Upset, the only horse that beat Man o' War, which was here in Saratoga in 1919, and we built on that story and created the brand about overcoming the odds, never giving up, even if you are the dark horse or the long shot.
I love that.
So 2014, we launched the brand, and it was so much fun. We were in the Flag Day Parade. We had a big launch party in Gaffney's Garden with John Baker, and they did, because we had our mini horse Upset, which I know we'll talk about, this was his debut, and the chef, Kevin, he made everything on the menu somehow mini related. So he had like mini sliders, mini hot dogs, like everything was mini related to go with the horse theme. And so we did that in 2014, the brand grew in Impressions. And we always like, if someday we open a store, we had kind of an idea of what we would do, but we never were like, this is the timeline of opening the store. And then Mary and I were walking to the bank in 2018. It was May. We were headed to the bank, and we saw that the Broadway salon was moving out, and we reached out to Terry, who owns the building. We were like, what do you guys put in there? And he's like, oh, we're looking for something right now. And within a month, we had the store open. So it was just a very quick, we were like, we could do this, and this is a great space, and it's worked out well.
That is such a cool story. I love the history with the track and Upset, and the fact that you have your own miniature horse named Upset. That's just such a great story. What differentiates the products? Like, what do you sell in Impressions that you may not sell at Dark Horse for people who aren't aware with your retail shops?
Yeah, so Impressions is the everything Saratoga store. We have all of the typical souvenirs that you'd expect, t-shirts, hats, mugs, all of that. But we also have a really large selection of gift items that are either Saratoga or equestrian themed, or they might be made locally. And then we also have some things that, you're looking for a birthday gift, or you're looking for sassy socks or a silly thing. Yeah. So we have that there, and it's definitely a much larger space, so there's a bigger variety. Over at Dark Horse, it's a smaller space, definitely more intimate, and there we want to keep going back to that history and the overcoming the odds, and it is a little bit higher end. We have some one-of-a-kind pieces. We've always had some sort of beautiful vintage piece that once that one piece is gone, it's gone. We've only had the one.
Yeah.
And then we have Barber there, which is a higher-end clothing line, and then we do bring in some lines there that you can't get anywhere locally.
Yeah.
And we bring those in. So it's definitely a smaller selection and more focused on the Saratoga, overcoming the odds, believing in yourself with that high quality line.
Yes. I love that. It's such a beautiful, both of them are great, but Dark Horse Mercantile has a very equestrian look and feel when you walk in, and it feels very upscale.
Yes, that's what we were going for. In the space, we were lucky. It had the exposed brick. It had the beautiful ceilings. Like, there was a lot we didn't have to do with that space.
It's a beautiful place. So you kind of touched upon this, but you feature a lot of local products. How do you work, or how do you choose which local Saratoga artisans and makers that you work with and the items that you bring into your stores?
Yeah, so both Mare and I, when we're out and about, and even some of our employees, when they're out and they see something that they really like, they might bring it in and say, like, hey, we tried this. Like, we just brought in Toga Nola granola. And
ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, and she's got 3 flavors, and she was at the farmer's market. And so you can reach out to us, of course, and say, hey, I've got this new product. But sometimes we see it and we'll go to the website and we'll contact them and say, hey, are you interested in wholesaling this, carrying it at the store? And for us, that was one thing that during COVID really went big, because we did the porch packages, which was specific Saratoga products that were in our store. We put them all into that reusable tote bag, and then we were delivering them, either shipping them or in person. And we really grew our Saratoga food selection and our Saratoga products because there was such a demand for it. And a lot of those people, they lost their source of getting the product out there because so many things were canceled during COVID. So we were able to, even with tea and honey, we brought in their tea and honey at our store, and we were able to get out in the porch packages because their customers couldn't come into them. So it worked really well.
That was such a great idea. You guys were so integral in keeping our community alive during COVID, collaborating with local businesses like Saratoga Tea and Honey, coming up with these packages that are all locally sourced items, and then delivering them. I think you were out with your bike, you know, and the wagon with the dogs and the kid in tow. I'm like, you just are so impressive. And thank you for doing that, because
we had a lot of fun with it.
That was awesome. That was really cool. Caroline in Maine is one of my favorite stores in downtown Saratoga. Whether it's a cheeky sweater or some super nice quality fabric, you can find whatever you're looking for. I had the opportunity to get dressed by Caroline in Maine in Lifestyles of Saratoga. I had the best time with Stacy, one of their stylists. We found the best outfit, including this faux fur leopard jacket, some awesome knee-high black boots, and a chunky undersweater to keep me warm. Total edgy look for New Year's Eve. I'm kind of going for like Gwen Stefani meets Olivia Rodrigo. So let's talk about Upset. For those of you who haven't seen Upset, Maddie has a miniature horse that graces us with his presence occasionally in Saratoga. And I was hoping you could talk a little bit about him, how you got him, how he became the face of your brand.
Yeah. Well, anyone who knows me knows that if there's a way I can get an animal, I do it. I'm a collector.
I love it.
So we were at Gaffney's. We used to go to Gaffney's for lunch and have like these brainstorming meetings there.
Yeah.
So we were there talking about the Dark Horse brand and how we were going to launch it back in 2014. And we were like, we should have a mascot of some kind. Because the dogs already come with us to the store and everything. We were like, we should have some sort of mascot.
Yeah.
And we were like, we should get a mini horse. And he could be black, look like the brand. He'd, wear the wrap on his leg. And we were like, oh yeah, that'd be so cool. We should find one. And then we were like, we can name him Upset after the brand. And so about 2 hours later, I had found a horse online that was for sale near Cobleskill. And we went out to meet him that weekend. And we told the woman that we were planning on having him be a mascot. We wanted him to go downtown, go into buildings, be part of our festivals and things like that. And she was like, well, he's a show horse. That's what he had done. And they show miniature horses almost like a dog. Like they bring him around on their halter. And so she was like, he's used to being out. I think he'd be okay with that, but he really isn't interested in the showing. And she was like, I think that he'd probably be fine, but why don't you try it? So we brought him home and we brought him downtown a few times early in the morning or later in the day when there weren't a lot of people out, and it was also winter. So we brought him down. We were like, he's totally fine with this. So then June 14th, we were like, we're just going to put him in a parade. We're going to bring him down to Gaffney's for a party. We just threw him in, and he ended up being downtown for like 8 hours that day. And in the parade, he ended up being in front of a marching band. And we were like, yeah, he's fine. So we were like, we're definitely going to keep him. And then Upset does have a little friend who lives with him named Poppy, but Poppy is Upset's buddy at home. He doesn't come downtown very often. He's come once or twice. And then Fly, who lives with them, is my big horse, he's a regular Swiss horse, but we call him the big horse. I've had him since I was a little kid. So
Aww.
The 3 boys all live together.
3 musketeers.
Yes.
I love that. Wow. So you have a very boy family, right? You've got a son and 3 boy horses and a husband.
Yes.
You're the only female.
And I did have all boy dogs, but I did just get a new female dog. And we also just got 2 cats that are both girls too.
Okay, good. I was going to say, you need some more female energy in that house.
But yeah, at one point it was me with 3 boy dogs, and the boy horses and everything was boys.
Aww.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I have a boy dog now. We always had boy dogs growing up. I don't know. There's just something about them. They're very territorial, but they're also just chill. Females, I feel like, can be high maintenance. My first pet as an adult was a Wheaton Terrier, and she was a female. And she was the most territorial, like high maintenance dog ever, but she was the best.
Yeah. I always feel like the boys are more needy. They're just like, I want you to love me. I want to be there. And they want to be like a part of everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the females can be more independent.
Absolutely. My dog now, so Kylie was like 25, maybe 30 pounds, small, Wheaton Terrier.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a golden doodle who probably only weighs 50, 55, but he's huge.
Yeah,
and he
they
thinks
look
he's a
big.
lap dog. And he is like, if I'm not holding one of my children, he is on my lap. Like he's always trying to like lay on me or jump on me. He just thinks he's a lap dog, but he's so good. That type of breed is so good with kids.
Yeah, they're
my
gentle.
terrier wouldn't have been so good with kids, I think. She just didn't like to be poked or prodded. Finley will lay there and they will like yank his ears, and he is totally fine with it.
Yeah,
so I'm like, all right, we got the right breed right now. It's so great. So back to Upset.
Yeah.
You have written 2 children's books about Dark Horse stories. What inspired you to write them? Does it have anything to do with your miniature horse?
Yes. So the first book was, again, it's kind of like when we opened the store, the 2 books just kind of came together. And I was walking the dogs and was thinking about the Dark Horse story, which we tell all the time to people because people are always asking about Upset and about the story behind Dark Horse. So we're always talking about it. And as I was thinking about the story, I just started rhyming it in my head. I was like, oh, I got to write this down. So I went home, I wrote it down, and I ended up writing a large chunk of the book like in one sitting.
Wow.
And then I went back and I was laying it out and I was like, I think this is pretty good. I'm going to see how it goes. So I reached out to Gretchen Tisch from Feathered Antler about illustrating it. And I reached out to someone I knew about publishing the book. And we were like, let's give it a try. We're going to do it. So we brought the book in the same exact week that we were opening the Dark Horse Mercantile, just timing. That's how it worked out.
Yeah.
So we did a big launch party for the 2. And so the Upset book, the first one, which is about the original Upset beating Man o' War, but we've taken some creative licensing. He looks like our Upset.
Yeah.
And like the horses high five in the book and they talk to each other and stuff. So, it's based on facts, but there's fiction in there too. And so we launched the book, and now the Dark Horse book is in its 4th printing. That's actually due to come in March. And then the Jim Dandy book, which came out in 2020, it's still doing really well. We're really happy with it. And again, worked with Gretchen Tisch to do all the illustrations. And we do have a following of people who are like, well, when's the next book going to come out? Or what are you going to do with this? And the 4th grade elementary schools here, they are reading a bunch of books right now, a curriculum that was set up by the National Museum of Racing that is all horse-themed books. And the Jim Dandy book is one of the books that all the 4th grades are reading. So
That's so great.
Yeah. So I was pretty surprised to see that. And then a few of the schools have now reached out in Saratoga and in Boston Spa to have me come within the next few months and talk to the kids about the books and do a reading and go over kind of the process of how we went about it and stuff. So it's been really fun. It's a
That
different
is so
experience.
great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look at you. Business owner, author.
Yeah.
Got it going on.
Always busy. Got to keep doing things at all
Yes.
times.
That's so great, though. That's awesome. So I've actually stopped by Impressions, and I've given your first book and then the little miniature horse Stuffy as birthday presents for other kids because it's so unique to Saratoga. And it's just so cool that I know the author.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
So I kudos to you. I think you're doing such a great job.
Thanks.
And it's such good recognition for us. Everyone knows Saratoga is a horse town, but you're making it fun. You're engaging children. The miniature horse, if you haven't seen it, is so cool. And he's so friendly. And it's nice when it's a busy summer day and he's out and about and you see people petting him. And
People
it's just
get
so great.
so excited when they see Upset coming down the street.
Yeah, that's so cool. Jessie House got styled by Laura at Violets of Saratoga. She got a snazzy sequined outfit with a beautiful black skirt and some gorgeous black pumps. Jessie is just so full of life and energy, and every time she put on a new outfit, you could tell how excited she was. And Laura is really good at what she does. She says she's not a stylist, but I think she is an amazing stylist, and her shop is just so nice. I can't wait for you to see her. So in your spare time, you also do a lot of volunteering work and you're involved in different organizations within the community. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm on the Discover Saratoga board. I'm on the Historical Society board at the Canfield Casino, the museum there. And then I just joined the At Our Trust Community Fund board. I had my first meeting this week. That was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I do some other volunteer things, some committees and things like that. So for me, I feel like it's really important that you're part of the community and that you know what's going on, because if you're not knowledgeable of the different events and the different things that are going on in town, you can't really plan your business around that. But also you can't be a part of what's going on. Like there are stores that might open up one day and they're like, hey, how come the roads are closed? I'm like, there's a big event today. Like, how'd you not know about that?
Exactly,
and it's helpful for your staff. It's helpful for the community. And if we don't have all of these events and we're not all working together, Saratoga wouldn't be what it is today. It isn't. People wouldn't know about it. It wouldn't be the gem that it is. So
absolutely. I think that's something that sets us apart. I mean, I'm born and raised here, so I don't know much different. But what I know about Saratoga is that everyone is so community oriented. You walk down Broadway and you see at least 2 or 3 people you know. I feel like all of the retail shops work together so nicely. Everyone is so friendly and everyone is so unique too. Can you talk about what the camaraderie is like downtown between the different retail shops?
Yeah, so we all do work together, and there are times where something we might see at a show, we're like, oh, this is really cool, but this wouldn't work for us, but it'd be great for Paul at Celtic Treasures.
Yeah.
So then we might grab the information and bring it home to him and be like, hey, we saw this, we think this might be great. Or he might do the same for us. And, you know, we might have a rep come in who has a line that they're like, this is doing really well. We think it could sell here. And we're like, oh, but isn't that down the street? And they're like, yeah, but it's okay if you guys just order a few different things. We're like, no, we don't want to step on their toes. They're doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that is helpful for everyone because you don't want to go to the same store over and over again.
Yeah.
And there's none of that like, oh, competing on price and this and that. We can all work together and the shoppers can enjoy going into a variety of different stores with a bunch of unique things.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it fun to be downtown because you don't want to just go into the same store over and over again.
Absolutely. And that's another thing that I love about Saratoga is you don't see a lot of big box stores. Predominantly downtown, it's family-owned businesses or local-owned businesses like yours. And every shop is so unique. So it's really cool to be able to go in and out and get a totally different experience every time.
Yeah, and we actually have a lot of people that ask, like, well, the locals must not shop at your stores because people who live in Saratoga don't want Saratoga things. And that's not how it is in our community.
Yeah.
People who are from here are so proud of Saratoga. They want to wear it. They want it in their houses. They want to give it as gifts. People from Saratoga want you to know they're from Saratoga.
Absolutely. To piggyback on that, when my son was born, Daryl actually got me a Saratoga horse onesie and the little lovey blanket from Impressions as a gift. And it was one of my favorite things. I'm like, wherever we go, I want people to see that we're from Saratoga. And then the other thing I love to buy every year is the Travers poster. Do you guys do you sell the posters and then you do the signings, right?
Yes. So Greg Montgomery.
Love that.
Yeah, he comes right to the store and all of the posters are signed. unless we're having a signing and you buy it there in person, he
and
personalizes
personalize it.
Yeah.
That's what I love. So we have 3. So this is a total Saratogian thing to do. The year we got married, 2017, we got one and he signed it to Ben and MacKenzie. And then in 2020, when my daughter was born, he signed it to Madeline. And then 2023, he signed it to Barrett. So we have 3 of them framed in our living room. And it's such a like cheesy but awesome thing when you walk in. Like my whole downstairs is very horse racing themed. And it's just it's a very proud thing, I feel like. And it's so nice that you guys offer not just the signs, but the signing when you get to meet the artist and then have a personalized print.
Yeah, it's really fun. And people do look forward to it. We've already had people asking what our summer schedule is going to be, what events we have coming up.
So are you excited about the summer? Belmont is coming back. Belmont on Broadway will be taking place again. It's going to be crazy. And I heard the track is opening a little earlier, too. I think a quick stint during 4th of July.
Yeah, we're very excited for the summer. We really had a great time with the Belmont last year. We don't know how the 4th of July festival is going to be. I think it's going to be very fun. I think that people are going to come for it.
Yeah.
One thing that we did notice is that because there was more of the front-loaded events, our August didn't have as many people downtown, but they were still out. They were shopping, enjoying themselves. And I think this year, now people have the routine. They've got that schedule, other than that little added one on 4th of July. But I think that it's going to be really busy, and we're looking forward to a really fun year. And we are, we were planning our Belmont stuff right when Belmont ended last year, but we're already working on that, and we'll be launching all of that soon.
That's so cool. Yeah, everything I heard, I mean, it was a lot of downstaters. So the folks in Long Island who are used to going to Belmont down there, a lot of them came here for the race last year, and it was so cool. So many people were pleasantly surprised. I can't believe how many people haven't heard of Saratoga or hadn't been to Saratoga Racecourse. So I hope now that that's just put us more on the map, and that will get even more people from June for the Belmont all the way through our season. Travers Stakes always takes place in August, and then we usually wrap up around Labor Day. So it's going to be a busy summer.
Yeah. And speaking to, how you're surprised when people don't know about Saratoga, when I went to school, move-in day was Travers Day. And I remember going to school and being like, I can't believe we're moving into college on Travers.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that we've got to do, and we've got to be downtown, this and that. And then when the stakes were happening, I had it on my laptop, and I was like, why is no one else here watching the Travers Stakes? What is going on here?
That's so funny.
It's because outside of our bubble, it's the Travers Stakes isn't like a Super Bowl, but here it is.
It is.
It is like that for
us.
It's
a big deal. And you talked a little bit about Upset, beating Man of War. So in Saratoga, after the Triple Crown takes place, we have the Travers Stakes, and we are known as the graveyard of champions. And that means that a lot of those winners come to Saratoga and lose. So it's extremely exciting to watch because you never know what's going to happen. The year American Pharoah won the Triple Crown, the whole city was excited to get him here. I remember the chamber did this whole program to get American Pharoah in Saratoga. Long story short, he came and he lost.
Yeah. See, Whirl Away is the only horse that's ever won the Triple Crown and then come to Saratoga and won.
That is crazy. That is crazy. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely exciting. For me, I just love the vibe at Saratoga Racecourse. There are few things quite as thrilling or heart pumping as seeing those thoroughbreds turn the top of the stretch and run past the finish line. It is so exciting every time I watch it.
It is, definitely.
I just love it. Love it. So over the years, I'm sure you've had some unforgettable moments at the stores. Is there a story that you want to share or that sums up your experience in Saratoga?
I mean, we have so many stories of things that happen at the store, and there's so many great stories and funny stories that it was hard for me to think of just one. But I do think that overall, we just are so lucky to have such great customers that come in year after year. But we've had some really fun experiences too. We have at the Dark Horse a really large photo of Upset beating Man of War. And one day, one of the girls was working, and there was a man looking at the picture, and he's looking at that, and he's looking over at the Upset book, and he's going back and forth. And he was like, is that Upset beating Man of War? And the woman working was like, yeah, it is. And he was like, that was my grandfather's horse. And so then he was one of the Whitneys and started talking with him because Harry Payne Whitney owned the horse. So started talking with him about that and everything. So then we exchanged contact info. And then a similar story over at Impressions. One time there was a gentleman in the store, and I don't recognize celebrities or people that are, you should recognize. I guess I don't normally recognize them. And so this woman came over to me and she's like, I see you have a name tag that says Maddie. Are you the Maddie that wrote the Upset book? And I said, yeah. And she was like, my husband is Dave Patterson. He was there. Was the past governor of New York. And she was like, Dave Patterson, his grandfather was the blacksmith for Upset.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so he was there. So I talked with him for a while, and then he was telling me that when Upset beat Man o' War, Harry Payne Whitney was so excited that his horse beat Man o' War that he purchased homes for his workers in the barn, the groomsmen, the blacksmith, and everything like that. And for these people, that was the first time that they were property owners, that they had a home. And it was in Jamaica, New York. And so Dave Patterson's family had a home that they lived in, and Dave Patterson was the first of his family to go to college. And he said that in his family, they always talked about Upset and Harry Payne Whitney as being like the turning point in his family's history.
That's
so
cool.
It was such a cool experience to meet them, to hear that story. And then they, we got pictures and we talked for a while and everything, exchanged info. And then they just came back here last year for their anniversary. And they called me before they were coming. They're like, hey, we wanted to call. Where do you think we should go for dinner? And this and that. And so we talked and everything.
I love that.
So, yeah, it's formed a really nice connection. And there's things like that happen all the time that's so unexpected.
Yeah.
And it's like this really neat connection that you never thought you'd have.
That is so cool. Sometimes I think we forget that the track is more than an attraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
It changes so many lives. It brings in so many jobs. The economic impact is incredible. And then this story just, shows how much it can change one family.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
It's really neat.
That's such a great story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So as a Saratoga native, I have to ask, what are your favorite spots, or are there a hidden gem that you would like to share with our listeners?
There are definitely a lot of hidden gems in the state park and even just around town. I feel like even locals have never tasted the waters and tried the spring water. Mm-hmm. I love the spring water. I love to go to Red Spring. That's my favorite. I'm always promoting Red Spring. It's my favorite one, and I think
where is the Red Spring?
So that if you go past High Rock toward Excelsior, that's the one that's on that triangle right there.
Okay.
So right by 9 Miles East and everything.
Yep.
So I love Red Spring, and we make our route there almost daily on our walk to get drinks from there. But I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I've never tried the Springs. I'm like, you're right here in Saratoga. You've got to do that. So I think that's a hidden gem that whether you're local or here visiting, you should definitely try some of those and go to the state park and try the waters there.
Yeah.
And then right outside of Saratoga, I do love Hudson Crossing. I think it's a really fun spot to walk. I think it's a fun playground, the way it's built into the side of the hill there. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to see the boats go through the locks and everything. Yeah. So I really like going there and out towards Schuylerville to go to Saratoga Apple and all the different spots like that. But
that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
So across from Saratoga Apple, you'll see the Saratoga Monument.
Yep.
My house that I grew up in as a child, our property was adjacent. So every day I'd look out my bedroom window, I could see the monument.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And then Hudson Crossing, I think, was built after I graduated high school, because I don't remember it as a child.
Yeah, I don't remember going there.
There's so much history there, too, with the battles of Saratoga. You mentioned Saratoga Apple. Best cider donuts I've ever had. And I'm a big cider donut fan. I go to a lot of places to try. I'll wait in line to try a cider donut. But since I've been a child, they have had my favorite cider donuts.
I know. Sometimes I wonder with that, because I'm the same way. And I'm like, it might also be a little bit of bias. Just
totally.
We grew up with it. But what you had as a kid was always better than anything else you try.
Totally. love Saratoga Apple. Well, this has been such a great time talking with you. I feel like I've learned so much about you personally and your stores. Is there anything else you want to share, or any inside scoop we can get coming up for you or the stores in Saratoga?
Well, our next big event, and for us it is a big event, is our dog potty. And it's PAWTY.
Love it.
So that is it's March 1st. And we actually have a birthday party for our dogs, and they all come to the party, and we do a birthday cake, and we have different events. And we have now been doing it this is the 11th year of the party. And we give out fun snacks and stuff to dogs and humans. And we've had sometimes 5 dogs at a time in the store, up to we've had a total of 100 dogs come through the store on the day of the party. So they weren't all in the store at once, but they come through. And that is always such a fun event. And then at that one, we hand out the coloring contest and we hand out the different things for our dog day, which is in May. So the potty is the next big event for us that we're planning. And we always have a theme. So this is game themed. So it's all like boredom busters and things you can do with your dogs.
Yeah.
And we got this new board game that's a family board game, but you can play it with your dog. And so
That's so cool.
Yeah. So we have that coming up, and Puzzle Mania is in March as well, where you come in, you pick a piece of a puzzle from this big jar on our counter, and if it fits into the puzzle that we've already made that's missing a few pieces, you win a gift card to the store. So it's just a fun, easy
That's such a good idea.
promotion. Yeah.
By the way, I could listen to you say potty all day.
My sister says that I am the only person that can say potty naturally. She's
Yes.
like, it is so weird. You can say it so easily, and I just say it. And she's always like, you're the only person that says it
It's
like
so
that.
good. I'm like, it's almost like an accent, but I can't figure out where it's from.
I've been saying it for so long.
That's so great. Okay, so March 1st is the doggy potty. Definitely going to have to bring Finley there.
Yep,
Hopefully
fun.
he plays well with others. And then the puzzle,
That's the whole month of March until
Whole
all the
month of
pieces
March.
are gone.
so cool.
Yeah. Last year, I think it might have been 2 years ago, we had a little girl. She won a puzzle or won a gift card from finding the puzzle piece. She came back to use her gift card a few days later, and we were like, pick another piece. She picked another piece, so she ended up getting 2 gift cards.
That's great.
Yeah. So she had a great time. She
That's
loves Puzzle
awesome.
Mania.
Yes. It just sounds like so much fun. I definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, so podcast ads, I was telling you guys before that when I listen to my other podcasts that are not Saratoga themed, I just go through the commercials quick, but I don't subscribe because I just like to just click the button 1,000 times. It's more fun. So that's how I get through the commercials normally. But I listen to the commercials with this podcast because I'm like, they're educational still. I'm learning about things that
Local
I might not know
businesses.
about, or they're just interesting to listen to. So when you did your New Year's podcast, you talked about nurture. And I had walked by there a bunch, and I always just thought that it was more of a spa to go and get massage or whatever. And I had not known what they did. So then your commercial explained what they did and that they're sustainable. And I was like, that is so cool. So I went to their website that night, and I saw they had appointments the next day. So I made an appointment the next day, and I went and I got my hair cut there. And I was asking them while I was there, like, oh, what is this for? Because they had the different bins for all the different
Yeah, the
waste and-
recycling. Yep.
Yeah. So I learned so much from them, and I thought it was so cool. And I learned that from the ad.
Yay! That makes my heart so happy. So Nurture is one of my favorite places. Lisa Liptak is my sister-in-law, and she was a hairdresser for many years. And all of the toxins that you ingest, even as a hairdresser, they're so bad for you, all the chemicals. So when she opened Nurture, her whole goal and purpose was to create an eco-friendly spa and salon. So she has, do you know that big charcoal wall? Mm-hmm. So that actually absorbs toxins from the air. The blow dryers that come down from the ceiling, those are all eco-friendly. So they use very minimal electricity. She has 3 or 4 different types of garbage cans that she does for recycling. So hair goes in one, foil goes in another, paper goes in another. They have reduced their carbon imprint so much just by doing all of these various things. And I just think it's so cool because not only do you walk away there looking and feeling beautiful, but you're also doing something great for the planet. So I can't say enough great things about them. And it just makes my heart so happy that you went and had a haircut.
Yeah, and when you go in, they have a bunch of great little items you can purchase. and everything. I really was impressed. I thought
And
they did
all
a
the
wonderful
items
job.
have an eco-friendly story too. Like the hair clips and hair ties and that kind of stuff. A lot of that comes from recycled materials. She has a whole eco-friendly pharmacy that has different products that you can put on your skin or ingest that are healthy and natural substitutes for some of the products and chemicals out there. And then, of course, all of her hair products too are all very, very eco-friendly and natural. So it's just, she's just done such a great job. And it's nice to be able to continue doing what you love while taking care of your clients and taking care of the environment.
Yeah, definitely. It was really fantastic. As you see, I
Yay.
put a lot of effort to my hair every
Your
day.
hair is so beautiful. I wish my hair curled like
It
that.
just does what it does.
I
every
love
day.
it though. The curl, it's just amazing. We always want what we don't have.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Maddie, for coming in today. This has been such a blast, and I'm so excited that we had the opportunity to chat. Thank you for everything you do for this community, and I'm so glad we had time today to learn more.
Yeah, thank you. This was great. I had a lot of fun.
All right. right, it's time for MacKenzie's Hot Take. If you caught the last episode of the Inside Track, our very own Jessie House visited Sashi's Dispensary in High Peaks, Canna. And lucky for me, I got some samples. Today's Hot Take is called Florist Farms Blueberry Sleep. These THC and CBN organic gummies help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. I can't wait to try them out. You can get yours today at Sashi's Dispensary in Ballston Spa. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Destination Saratoga All Access. Don't forget to subscribe for more insider tips, curated itineraries, and unique stories that make Saratoga County so special. If there's something you'd like to hear about, send me an email at podcast@discoversaratoga.org. Until next time, keep exploring, and I hope to see you in Saratoga. This podcast is brought to you by Discover Saratoga, the official tourism promotion agency of Saratoga County, produced by Bright-Sided Podcasting, video by Iron Glass Productions, and special thank you to Lyft Marketing. La, 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 la.